Our main character is running away angrily thinking that he can't take these selfish quests anymore where everything is pushed on him and he just gets yelled at. Starting today, things are going to change. For the first time in his life, our MC didn't go to work and didn't even submit a leave. Little bro is on a strike. If our boy had to make an excuse, it's because it's already past noon when he woke up. Our MC groggily gets up, realizing he's been sleeping by the entrance, or maybe he just passed out after a good night of drinking. But turns out, he's just too sad. Our boy can't stop crying for some reason, and he can't get to the meeting on time either. Bro walks past a little bird looking down on him from a branch. He feels a little better after his hissy fit, but still wonders if he'll get in trouble with upper management, and that makes him even more depressed. Back at the Adventurer Guild, the receptionist calls him Mr. X, telling him to do his best with his quest today, and also reminding him to see the guildmaster because he wants to talk to him. Little bro doesn't want to see him and his ugly face. The guildmaster is a real piece of work, always calling him a defective magician for only knowing beginner-level magic, and also asking him why he was absent without leave. As the guildmaster continues to bite our boy's head off for not coming to the meeting, he is having a mental breakdown. X apologizes, even though the meeting isn't much of a meeting, just the guildmaster yapping about new instructions for the month. X is not sure why, but other brain-dead adventurers like those meetings. It gives them a sense of duty. The guildmaster tells him that he has asked Miss Aries, a B-class magician, to do his work of casting buff spells on adventurers, so he should thank her. The adventurers were happy, but it cost them a lot. He angrily scoffs at little bro and brings out his adventurer card, telling him he is not ready to be an adventurer, that he should be an unpaid intern. Right now he is rank E, a defective magician named X, only 19 years old and able to use beginner-level magic. The guildmaster snaps his adventurer card and grins, telling him that, as punishment, he will have to start from rank F again. X has had enough of this trash bag having it out for him. This is the third unfair demotion, a blank F card, and if he drips his blood, it will be registered. A drop of blood, and things will restart again. The guildmaster sarcastically asks why he's so quiet. X grips his rod in anger. He can't take it anymore. Little bro shows a lot of restraint by not bashing his head in with his staff, but instead bows, saying that being an adventurer is too much for him. He quits. X pulls a classic General Z move, and the guildmaster wasn't expecting him to just quit. He asks him to think it over. X looks at the guildmaster in surprise. He didn't expect him to be so desperate to keep him as his punching bag. Leader of the zombies, the most powerful clan, Bart just laughs, telling X that it's good he's finally quitting. Good riddance. Now the rest of the adventurers will gain fame because people always look down on adventurers when they see someone like him cast only beginner-level magic. Maybe this idiot never heard of He looks at the mansion, which is pretty big, and there are a lot of things to do. He should just cast magic and move around, but he also remembers the Viscount telling him that he should carry around the ice balls and wind balls he makes. He wonders how he should do it. What if he uses discarded scrolls? He brings a scroll and puts it inside, but he also has a weird, uneasy feeling. That uneasy feeling proves true when the Viscount tells him to make 100 of these old-fashioned fans by tomorrow. This angers X. He was happy that he completed the quest, but now he has to make 100 of his own inventions. Instead of bowing his head, he refuses. The Viscount furiously wonders if he is defying him, but he cannot do it anymore. He has been following brain-dead bastards and their demands for the 5 past years. All he wants to do is sit on his couch, play with his PS4, and eat snacks, so he will be true to his desires. He finally stands up for himself, saying that he will not change what he said. The Viscount is not too happy with the commoner defying him, and he asks for a good reason or else X will be executed. X really wonders if this powdered wig-wearing idiot thinks that he can get away with threatening him. The Viscount says that X can apologize and start what he is instructed to do, looking at him smugly, but X says he does not want to work anymore. A moment passes, and X feels amazing as he has finally told him to back off, and the Viscount is visibly shaken. He starts yelling at X, calling him a lowly adventurer who cannot use anything but basic magic. He threatens that X will be beaten black and blue, then angrily yells that he will send a designated quest his way so that he has no choice but to follow through. He managed to pick up a couple of magic stones as a side hustle, but it has been getting harder and harder, and he has extra work to do. He quietly hides behind a tree trunk and looks at a king orc, a monster just a little uglier than the Viscount. He uses a fireball spell, but instead of a fireball, it is a little spark that limps towards the orc. The orc laughs at its tiny little size. Maybe that is why X carries such a big staff to compensate for his little twig. But X just smiles because size does not matter. It is good that the orc underestimates his fireball, because as soon as it makes contact, it will continuously burn. X laughs, proving that a book should never be judged by its cover. He has also gotten stronger, but just as he is in the middle of celebrating his little victory, a shadow puppy chomps down on his leg. He looks at the puppy in anger and uses his electric staff to bonk him on the head. It immediately lets go and squares up. His shoots an electric shock which does not miss, so it escapes from his thunderbolt. He finally arrives back at the guild, bruised, battered, and full of scratches, with a beer belly full of mana potions. He hands in his reports. He uses water magic to clean the dishes, fire magic to get the stove running, ice magic to make frappuccinos, and water ball to wash the dirty old man's grumpy attitude. These effects should hold up for a month, but he is so tired and so out of mana that he just collapses on the floor. He is getting tired after only using beginner-level magic for some chores. The grumpy old man tells him that he is late today, and as punishment, there will be no commission fees. X quietly closes his eyes and accepts his fate, while the old man has fun bullying him, threatening to cancel the contract so that he is not late next month. This cheers him up, and he excitedly tells the old man to cancel his contract. He stretches his arms and enjoys the morning, feeling different from the unemployed losers living in their parents' basements and starting a Twitch stream. He has both time and money saved up from his job, and now with financial freedom, he is going to enjoy his time. He is a sorcerer who can't use anything but basic magic, yet his magic has a little twist. His flames don't go out and his ice doesn't melt for a month. His magic is extension, and that is the reason he has money. He hadn't had the energy to go shopping before, but that changes today. He smells something amazing a couple of blocks away and tries to seek it out, and it turns out to be a kebab stand. He excitedly grins, deciding to try a kebab today. This is the first time he will spend money on snacks, so he resolves to act on his impulses and eat anything he can. Meanwhile, the Viscount is having a meltdown, furious that the defective little magician dared to turn down his requests when he can only use basic magic. Like, bro, chill out, you can't even use basic magic. His butler informs him that the magician's name is X, and the Viscount tells the butler not to let him escape from his territory. He orders him to pressure people so that X can't work at all or be an adventurer. The butler complies, and the Viscount laughs, imagining X on his knees asking for forgiveness. He plans to teach X a proper lesson so that he won't rebel in the future. He also looks at the cylinder X made, something like an air conditioner with ice and wind magic cooling him down, but the Viscount shamelessly takes credit for inventing it. The butler starts glazing him, saying he has keen insight, and the Viscount promises to give him one as well, ordering it to be taken to the kitchen so he can cool off. He is already planning to have X make 200 of them, but that bastard escaped. In the kitchen, the water from the jug has stopped flowing, and the butler wonders what they should do since X was the one who made it. The Viscount realizes that things are falling apart without the so-called defective magician, and since X is now on strike, he decides to find a different sorcerer for now. Meanwhile, X is living his best life, eating greasy kebabs and having a full-on foodgasm in his mouth. He is so glad he quit, but he still feels heavy and doesn't want to eat anymore. It looks like his stressful work environment took a toll on him, and his body is not as healthy as it used to be, so he can't eat more than a bite. A voice asks him if he's not going to finish, and he turns to see a hungry little cat girl. As soon as he spots her, she shies away, but being the kind adventurer he is, he hands her the kebab, telling her to eat slowly so she doesn't overstuff herself. The little cat girl thanks him, saying it is the first time she's had meat, and she excitedly waves at him. As a fellow orphan, he understands what a luxury meat is and decides to treat her to something better next time. He never knew that being unemployed would be so fulfilling, but he isn't satisfied yet. He's going to live and do whatever he wants, and what he wants right now is to splurge the money he saved up. He goes into a novelty shop looking at things lying around, but it seems like he doesn't even know what any of them are. He was eager to splurge, yet he didn't know what to buy anymore since he had been away from civilization for so long. Then, something catches his eye. A squishy round orb sits in front of a board that spells out the Supreme Milkers, the best night pillow for anyone without a girlfriend. He is immediately captivated and gently touches it, and a strange, unfamiliar sensation runs through his body. As the ultimate V-card loser, he starts motorboating the pillow, so happy that he wants to take it home and never let go. The receptionist recognizes X and bursts out laughing. X tries to regain some dignity, saying his hand slipped, but she just smirks, telling him not to hide it since he's a guy too. She teases him further, saying her daughter's milkers are as big as the pillows, maybe even bigger, so maybe he should ask her out. X bashfully asks her not to get the wrong idea, insisting he was just checking the quality. Since he touched the pillow, no one else would want it, so he may as well get it. The shopkeeper laughs harder, then teases him about checking the real thing, pushing her own jubs in front of his face and telling him to have a go. Bro fumbles 10 bite and MILF by dropping onto his sorry bottom and refusing. She finds it cute and asks X to fix their baths, and she sent a designated request, but no one accepted it. He remembers not being able to request easy jobs from ordinary people because of the Viscount. Though the lady is a tease, she is not unreasonable, so he decides to hear her out. However, when she tells him she will send a designated quest to the guild later, he immediately changes his mind, saying he is retired and won't work anymore. Meanwhile, at the Viscount's residence, the butler stares at a broken pot, wondering why it cracked. All he did was try to use magic to fill it like X did, but no other magician can pull it off. To think X's magic was actually special, he can't even imagine life without a convenient water jar anymore. He brings one of X's still active jars from another room and makes do. He also glances at the enchanted lights and realizes X had practically been in charge of the entire palace, and without him, everything is falling apart. X, on the other hand, tries to decline the shopkeeper's offer, but she shakes him violently, even offering to give him the pillow he had his eyes on for free. X looks at it and apologizes, saying he has money to buy it, but then he sees the price tag, 5 silver coins. His inner angel tells him it will only take 5 minutes to fix the bath, and he can have the pillow for free, but his inner devil whispers that he should never work again and instead live the dream life of an unemployed and successful VTuber. The lady tries to pressure him, saying that if he does not fix the bath, she will let everyone know that he was motorboating a pillow because he does not have a girlfriend. With his aura on the line, he realizes he will never get that pillow if he refuses the request, and since he really wants it, he finally accepts, though he insists it is obviously for a friend. She gets excited and blurts out that she wants him to be her son-in-law because her daughter likes him and they can even have a baby together. X fumbles again, accidentally accepting the request, but he is not too sorry since it makes her happy. She uses her charms to push him into fixing the bath, and, with a mix of a water ball and a fireball, it will now hold out for at least a year. This surprises her, and as she points it out, she notices he has been training non-stop ever since being forced to meet everyone's demands. All of a sudden, the woman's daughter arrives, basically still a child, and she tells X to do whatever he wants to her. In shock, he angrily chops her on the head, wondering what kind of information she is getting from her mom and who they think he is, Diddy. He snaps that she should only say things like this once she turns 18. The little girl mistakes this for not being big in the chest, wondering if her little tomatoes are not enough, which makes him blow up again. He yells that he is not Diddy and that if she does not knock it off, she will end up becoming an ogre. As he turns to leave, she tries to hold him back by excitedly offering him a job, but the very name of work is enough to give him PTSD, so he tells her to stop because he has decided never to work again. The shopkeeper realizes what he has been through and apologizes, promising not to mention it again, and reassures him that he should not worry. They hug it out, and the small comfort recharges him to go home and enjoy his pillow. Before he leaves, the shopkeeper tells him that if things ever get too heavy, he can always come talk to her. X grins and asks if they know about ice houses, which she remembers as expensive magical tools only nobles use. To her surprise, he hands them an ice ball, explaining that it will not melt for half a year and that they should use it as a bonus. They accept it excitedly, while elsewhere, the little girl sits with her stuffed toys, wondering why X has not come back. So X is enjoying his unemployed life with his head stuffed in his squishy pillow, drifting in and out of sleep and deciding to stay in bed a little longer. He is not sure why, but this pillow is the best thing he has ever purchased, and he is also glad that he quit the Adventurers Guild. Eventually, he remembers that he is kind of hungry, so he drags himself out and heads to an inn, where a fox girl greets him with excitement, asking if he will get his usual order. His usual is the slime meal, which is dirt cheap, takes a few seconds to eat, and tastes bad enough to kill a bear. She brings it out and asks him to pay up, but X's mind shuts down for a moment, making the fox girl wonder if today he wants the full dining experience. Shocked, she escorts him inside, yelling at the crew that X is finally going to eat properly instead of choking down the nasty slime meal. She sets a menu in front of him and tells him to take his time, so he surveys it, realizing that he has been making them worry until now. Today he decides on the chef's choice, and she rushes off to tell the chef to whip up whatever he wants. The chef comes back with a bowl of soup, a basket of freshly baked bread, and a plate of chicken nuggets, and as X slurps the first spoonful, tears pool in his eyes because the warmth has touched his soul. The fox girl looks at him in surprise, yelling for the chef that X is crying and saying that it is warm, and the chef is pleased. For the first time in 5 years of hard work and slime meals, X finally gets a decent meal, and he thanks them for the food, calling it delicious. The fox girl smirks and asks if he has free time now, saying that Big Sis was worried, which makes X wonder why this lowly furry is calling herself Big Sis. Still, he tells her that he has finally quit working, and she immediately tries to recruit him for a job, even promising introductions. Though he appreciates it, X wants to live a carefree life, basically just die as a Discord mod without a job and without a girlfriend, so he steps outside to walk. Suddenly, he collapses from a tummy ache and a 10 out of 10 baddie in a lab coat rushes over, asking if he is okay. All he can think about is how good she smells, and he apologizes, explaining that his buff magic wore off and that this happens all the time. He casts it again, activating beginner magic to buff his stats, and immediately feels better. The lab coat hottie admits that she has also been getting tired easily since she became a scholar, and she was worried someone else might be going through the same thing. X wonders if he can cast buff on her as a trade, telling her she will not feel tired for at least a month, so as soon as he casts it, she yells in shock, her power surging endlessly, and demands to know if he is responsible. He bashfully admits that he can only use beginner magic, and buff magic is just one of them, but she gets excited and yells that she can now do anything for about a month. Bro doesn't realize what kind of magic he's been throwing around because with this buff, he could basically lay pipe for an entire month without getting tired, and the possibilities are endless. The Ladco baddie runs off, promising to finish her research once and for all, and for the first time in his life, X feels appreciated. He used to cast this buff on his adventurer buddies all the time, but they only laughed at him for being useless. Meanwhile, back at the Adventurers Guild, Bart and his crew arrive with a good haul, dropping a pile of magic stones on the counter. The receptionist and adventurers laugh, impressed, because the giant magic stone is renowned as a loot drop from the King Orc, the Devourer of Maidens. When the receptionist asks how they beat it, they lie that they just picked up the magic stones left behind by whoever defeated the beast, assuming it must have been some super strong stranger when in reality, X's never-ending fireball had wiped it out. With all the money earned this month, Bart decides to go for a drink, but all of a sudden he gets drowsy. Bart notices his buddies looking worn out too, and admits it looks like X's buff has finally run out, which pushes the guildmaster to demand X's return. But the guildmaster tells the receptionist to bring X back and even offer him a B-rank position since it is open now, because everyone has realized that without X's buff magic they cannot perform nearly as well, even if they still do not know that he was the one who killed the orc. X, however, is still living his best life, feeling full, warm, and happy with only a girlfriend missing from the picture. As he relaxes in his room, he spots a crowd gathering around a cute little girl, and though he does not want to meddle in trouble, as soon as he hears that the kid is carrying a living bear, he immediately wonders if it is Ruka. Ruka excitedly spots X, and the bear puppet slaps him repeatedly, making him wonder if she came to see him but could not get inside the inn, so she waited in the gap outside since she could not stand people gazing at her. This is the puppet sorcerer Ruka, and they end up going on a little date at the tea house Silent Cat, where Ruka asks why he cancelled the buff magic contract on her since they have been troubled without it. Ruka is a girl running a sewing factory with automated puppets, but X looks away sadly and admits that he quit his job. This surprises Ruka, who asks if he is going far away, but while slurping his drink, he explains that he does not plan to leave town. She brightens immediately, saying that it is amazing, and asks him to use his spell again. X casts the buff on the bunny, and the bunny hops onto his shoulder, apologizing for hitting him. This is Crazy Bear, Ruka's partner and the manager of her sweatshop, and it turns out that Crazy Bear has +1 intelligence, which lets him talk. Still, Ruka admits that once the buff wears off, Crazy Bear loses his brain cells, so they are counting on X. After some back and forth about his unemployment, Ruka gets really angry on his behalf, even promising to beat people up for him, which weirdly makes him happy, though he insists that he does not want a little girl with a teddy bear taking on adventurers. They turn to leave quietly, and X apologizes, saying he just wants to stop by his inn before walking her home. He also notices how gentle Ruka becomes when she is outside. Later, when she drops by his inn, the receptionist is already waiting in his room, which does not please X at all. In the middle of the day, with two beauties crowding his space, he still fumbles and tells them to leave, but the receptionist blurts out that he is a C-rank adventurer now, and that he could even be promoted to B-rank next month. X just sighs, reminding her that he already quit being an adventurer and was only F-rank before. The receptionist tries to spin it, saying the guildmaster gave him a trial, and that he overcame everything and became great, so from now on the guild will decline quests from poor people, letting him focus only on high-level requests. She even tries to sweeten the deal, telling him she will be his girlfriend and he can ask her out anytime. X glances at Ruka and Crazy Bear, already set on his decision, but Crazy Bear suddenly snaps, telling the receptionist that it is enough. She gasps in excitement, pointing out that the bear is talking, and Crazy Bear explains that he won't be fooled by the word trial. Sorcerers actually start at C rank because of how rare they are, which means the guild master has been ripping off X's commission fees as a middleman and using the money for his own allowance. Everyone is shocked. They cannot believe the bear is as sharp as an Asian woman sniffing out a bargain. Crazy Bear insists that it does not make sense and demands that the guildmaster come and apologize first. Even the receptionist is rattled by how evil this all sounds, so she immediately leaves. Ruka tells X to thank Crazy Bear, and X does, realizing that Ruka is the one who taught the bear how the guild works and that she has been cheering him on from day one. He feels thankful for her, the cat girl from the cafe, the shopkeeper, and everyone else who has supported him. Just then the receptionist returns, saying the guildmaster declined and is not happy. She inspects the paperwork and admits that the guild has been drowning in failed mission reports, with adventurers unable to eliminate targets and many of them too fatigued to move a muscle. They all start to wonder what is happening as the downfall of the guild begins. Crazy Bear is really adorable, and X is cuddling with it non-stop. He's recovering from the fatigue of going face-to-face with the receptionist. He also asks Ruka how her sweatshop is going. It's better than employing kids in it. She's using stuffed plushies to make knockoff Nike sneakers, and depending on whether his buff magic is there or not, it can operate 24/7. Ruka just looks at him cluelessly, saying that she is not a devil and she doesn't work the plushies to the stuffing. He wonders about the bear, and she says the Crazy Bear is different. The Crazy Bear also hugs her, telling him not to abandon him. She tells him to remember it's good that he's helpful, but her sweatshop can manage if they reduce production even without him. The world goes round. He shouldn't mistake that he is responsible for everything, and there's no need to hurt because of someone else's loss, so he should rest for now. This is the only genuine person who really wants what's best for X. As long as he understands she's going to go home, he offers to escort her home. Meanwhile, the receptionist tells the old guild master that X has already quit. He angrily grumbles that kids these days don't want to work anymore. Because of him, all of the higher quality ingredients in his restaurant went bad, and how dare the guild not take responsibility. His request form clearly states defect liability in case of a serious failure. They need to take responsibility until the end. She looks at the contract and realizes this boomer is as evil as Jeff Bezos when it comes to contracts, but she pulls a fast one on this old-timer. The request form has already been processed as cancelled. This means there's no contract anymore. The old man remembers canceling the contract to teach X a lesson. He angrily yells that there must be a replacement. He's in debt, and they just remodeled. The receptionist tells him to have a good day and not be a Karen anymore. Later, the adventurers come up to the receptionist, saying that the monsters were stronger than usual and they couldn't perform so well. This is the 9th failure this month. It looks like the whole adventurer guild is going up in smoke. They failed epically, and the guildmaster yells that they are all slacking off. They try to ask for a pep talk, saying they can't keep their heads in the game lately. They say that if they were disciplined by the guildmaster, they could become as strong as a zombie. They decide to get a special pep talk as it is supposed to make them stronger than a normal human. The guildmaster completes his pep talk and tells them to get a buff from Ares and work on their duties. It turns out the only reason his TED talk was successful was because of X's buffs that lasted a whole month. Right now, Ares tells them that it's meaningless to cast a buff when they're not in battle, but they still tell her to cast a buff. She starts casting them. The first one is an S-rank adventurer, and she gets +1 more mana. She continues to give everyone buffs, but the buff lasts only for a minute, still more than how long I last in bed. The magician looks around, wondering what the hell is happening, as everyone says that Ares is even worse than that garbage magician. She angrily yells that her buff lasts only 10 minutes max, and the S-rank adventurer yells that X's buffs lasted a whole month. Without buff magic, they're all screwed. It's true that she can make things super efficient with her planning, but her mana capacity is that of a kid. Without buff magic, she can't use Fireball repeatedly, and she has no choice but to chug potions to restock her mana. Ares says that she's been specializing in magic for years, and buff magic only lasts 10 minutes at most. Everyone realizes that X was a freak of nature. They need a replacement buff magician, but no matter who comes, they can only last 10 minutes. The S-rank magician tells the guildmaster that they need X. He kicked him out, so he should be the one to bring him back. The whole guild rebels, and the receptionist angrily yells that it's only right that he apologizes. She yells at him to apologize, or else he'll get hit in the head 1,000 times over. Meanwhile, X is still living his best life. He comes across an old adventurer who wants his knife sharpened, but X tells him off. He doesn't accept requests anymore. He comes face to face with the alley cat. Back in the day, he used to accept any request that came his way. No wonder bro burnt out like a Japanese salaryman. Bots arrive with their squad of zombies, and they start bullying him in the alley, saying that he's being super slow, but X doesn't take this crap from anyone anymore. He looks them down. In the past, he would have reflected on himself and might have apologized, but this time, he asks them for an apology. He doesn't back down, and as Bars goes for his dagger, promising to turn him into minced meat, X uses ice enchantment to freeze his sword in place so he can't carry that promise. What he doesn't know is that he won't be able to pull it out for an entire month. Bro will be stuck paying child support for years because of a weak pull-out game. The other members of the party try to jump X, but X has had enough of this freak show. He's going to try not to hurt them, but he can't make any promises. Just then, all of the various people who had been helped by X came to his aid. The restaurant manager arrives, and this is the first time he's shown his face. The fox girl also arrives. He angrily turns to Bars, telling him to pay last month's bill. Bars immediately tries to run away, saying that it won't be good to make an enemy out of him, but the chef is not having any of it. He then looks at his knife, which is sharper than a katana thanks to X. He also casts Support 1 on them, the buff magic that gets them fired up and ready to take on Happy Hour head on. As he turns to leave, X still asks Bars to apologize. Unexpectedly, Bart apologizes, and they can't believe that they got the zombie leader to apologize. Everyone starts celebrating as it looks like X's balls have finally dropped, and he has become a man. X decides to celebrate his new pair by asking for a manly meal. Meanwhile, Zombie is throwing a tantrum. He wants to get more allies and beat him up. The Major arrives, saying that it's bonus time for them. They go into the forest, and a pack of shadow dogs scares them off. So much for a big hit squad. They run away, and Zombie says that it's safe so far, but why are monsters getting harder to kill? The forest guard's report is wrong. They've been making X do everything by himself and taking all the credit. With him gone, they can't handle it. The bonus time is that they're relying on zombies to finish what X started, but they can't get any magical stones, just like X dropped earlier. From that day on, zombies, the young heroes of the guild, lost their glory and their touch. He also dropped his wallet with the little money he had left. He's broke with no weapon and no power, so he comes to a weapon shop and decides to pawn his frozen sword. That's the blade he's proud of, but now he'll have to sell it because he can't even draw it anymore. He gets 1 gold coin in return and promises to come back for it next month. He also curses himself for putting the restaurant on his tab. Now he has to use his sword as collateral for next month's bonus time, but he never gets the money to get his sword back. Back at the Viscount's residence, the butler greets his lord, noticing how happy he is that something good happened at the dinner party. The Viscount, whistling to himself, says that the tool he made that makes Cole win, aka the one that X created and this trash bag is taking credit for, is the hit at the party, and even the princess has shown interest in it. When he presented it to her, she was very pleased and wanted some for her friends. The butler bows, saying that that is expected of his lordship, but the only problem with his grand make money scheme is that X is retired from being an adventurer. The Viscount, with his head high in the clouds, tells him to offer him a job at the mansion. The guy must be malnourished and unemployed, so he should cry tears of joy at the idea of working for him. The butler says that's an amazing idea. He is the ultimate hype man for this brain-dead noble. He promises to reach out to him at once, and the Viscount whistles that they will make him create 200 more ice fans as his first job, and he can already see himself as a nobleman. Later, the butler sighs. He now realizes that no one but X can produce a magic light that can last for a whole month. The maid says that the ice in the ice hold chamber, the largest one, has just melted, and they need to have it replaced. The butler sadly says that they should just throw everything away in the ice house heaven. The maid can't believe what she is hearing. Maybe they can look for a replacement magician instead, but he tells the maid to keep it a secret. He will prepare a huge sum of money and a position for him. Speaking of X, he is currently looking at a stuffed toy stuck in his mailbox. He wonders what kind of situation this is, and if the stuffed toy wants to make him its stepbro. X decides to help his step toy out and pulls it out of the mailbox, and it turns out it's a bunny. There are a lot of sewing squads made of bunnies in Ruka's house, and even though they all look the same, Ruka can tell them apart. As soon as he leaves the bunny, it immediately gets stuck in the mailbox again. Weird kind of kink to have. Even though Ruka told him that she could get by without his buffs, he's kind of suspicious of this suicidal bunny. He gently opens the door using his key and pardons himself for letting himself in. They are both magicians, and magic is kind of unfair. Magic follows the rules of the land of illusions, the devils. For example, they can create flames or ice and stuff like that in a real world through illusion magic. Magic elements are like tunnels that connect this world to the land of the devils, and sorcerers are those who have access to both sides. They need to make a contract, and even though they all look the same, Ruka can tell them apart. For example, Ruka became a puppeteer. In exchange, her karma is loneliness. The karma was the fear of people. But maybe Ruka really wants friends, and that's why she keeps plushies around. The illusion became her friend, but it was jealous, so it stole courage from her so that she couldn't get near other people. And he was the first one to hear her voice the day he gave Crazy Bear his brain cells. That's the day they became friends. He looks at a poor little bunny carrying 2 big balls of yarn and tripping on them. Ruka angrily wanders in, and X greets her, saying that he's here to play. She's all over him and apologizes, patting her head and telling him to ring the bell. He nervously says that he did ring the bell, but what is this disaster in the sweatshop? She coughs, saying that it's nothing, but he forcefully barges in, and it turns out that only a single bunny is taking care of a hoard of fabric. He stares at her, and she angrily says that the bunny goes wild if she asks it to do anything difficult, and it's true that she needs him. And does he have a problem with that? She pulls a true tsundere move and crosses her arms. X realizes that's the reason the bunny is so suicidal. He instantly buffs up the bunny with support 1, and the bunny turns into a bodybuilder, bowing in front of X. Rukia tells him that he's done enough for one day, and Crazy Bear also says that he's done enough. Though X likes their acknowledgement and their praises, he feels as if he's become a hero. He tells them not to worry. After all, he's the only one who can save them. One after another, he juices up all of the bunnies with his steroid magic. He apologizes to everyone for being late. He looks at the whole factory going at full throttle with bunny force. He has no other choice but to run away, but as he's about to run, Rukia tackles him from behind. It looks like he can't stop a little girl like her. He wonders what this is for, and she angrily yells that this is enough. She yells that the bunnies will run wild if they don't make them work hard enough. And if he wants to work, he can work as much as they do, but he needs to rest properly. He apologizes as he's gotten a bit of a weird mood. They later have a tea party with the bunnies presenting them with tea and sweet treats. Rukia gives him 1 large silver coin for his troubles, saying that it's tough dropping their standards of living when it goes up. And it makes it difficult to do things like they did back then. She looks at X, telling him his magic is way too convenient to pass out. She tosses him a cookie and he grabs it mid-air, making Rukia laugh. She passes another cookie, but he fails to get it. And this is terrifying if it makes it into production. They could even use it in the military. He wishes to know who the sorcerer is who made it. And what in the world is he thinking? The princess sneaks in, saying that they should go ask the person themselves. Crazy Bear greets Rukia, and Rukia is still sleepy. She greets her little bunnies, telling them to make black tea while she gets dressed. This little loli is running Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but instead of Oompa Loompa, she has bunnies. She dresses herself in cute clothes, and the Crazy Bear continues to compliment it, being the ultimate hype man. She compliments Crazy Bear on his good choice. She also looks at some cat ears, wondering if she should dress up like a cat. But the Crazy Bear tells her that would be going a little too far. The little bunnies wonder why their master is being a simp, and letting the black tea they made get cold. X notices that the weather is kind of hard today when someone knocks on his door, and it turns out to be the guildmaster with the receptionist. The receptionist had been wondering if he's home, since last time he wasn't convinced to return as an adventurer, but this time the guildmaster himself is here. If he apologizes, X should forgive them. Meanwhile, the guildmaster is just looking down on him for giving him trouble, and he remembers talking to the Viscount's butler about how X quit because of the unreasonable request. The butler wants to reward X with a 10 gold coin bonus and an exclusive contract with great benefits, but the guildmaster laughed at him, saying that he would never come back for only 10 gold coins. This forced the butler to increase the bonus to 100 gold coins, and the guildmaster even offered his services to convince X for a small fee of 5 gold coins. Though internally, this sleazeball just wants to pocket all 105 coins and force X into unpaid labor again. X doesn't even open the door, telling them that he already quit and there's nothing to talk about, which pisses off the guildmaster, but he holds back for now because he's already bought his house with 105 coins. He's in a good mood, since X's blank card helps him, and even though he should have received an A-rank ID, the guildmaster just took A-rank money from the client and gave E-rank money to X, making a clean commission. The receptionist pleads that he is here to apologize, and the guildmaster bows, saying he will apologize. Remembering Crazy Bear's words, it looks like they took it to heart. The guildmaster says that their business is down, so X should come back to the guild. He will prepare a position of B rank, scratch that, even A rank adventurer, him to just come back to the guild. The receptionist happily says it's great that he'll be A rank now. X smiles, and for a moment their hearts light up. But then he crushes their hope by saying that even if they treat him better now, it doesn't matter, since he'll never come back, and he slams the door in their faces because those ranks are as useless to him as finding spicy videos just after he goons. Internally, he chuckles, knowing he has finally told them off, another item crossed from his bucket list, and feeling refreshed, he decides to go for an afternoon nap. But the guildmaster doesn't let go, saying they will change his type of work as well, and if he comes back, he'll get anything he wants. X angrily says he'll leave town if they keep pressuring him, and the guildmaster immediately backs off, telling him not to be hasty. X smiles and tells them to take care before deciding to visit Ruka. The receptionist, however, calls the guildmaster a loser for backing off so quickly, saying they couldn't even chase him down or show that they are serious, but the guildmaster angrily grumbles that they can't drive him off because the whole town loves him. He has already used the reward money, and if X leaves, the Viscount will punish him, so he tells the receptionist that he has a secret plan and she just needs to convince the adventurers to wait 3 more days. She also decides to improve her face card over the next 3 years with a skincare routine to make X fall for her, while the guildmaster is up to no good, thinking that if he can't force X to obey, he'll bring out his secret treasure. It's a ring of servitude, a magical tool that lowers the owner's abilities by 1 level, erases their mind, and forces them to simp until the day they die, and with this he plans to make X regret ever walking away. But he realizes a loophole in the plan, since lowering his stats by 1 will make him even more incompetent, and because beginner is the first level, X wouldn't be able to use magic at all. He curses X for only using beginner magic, saying he should have been intermediate, and curses the fact that now he might be sent to the mines without money to escape, even regretting buying himself a fancy mansion. Suddenly, he comes up with another trashy idea, to use the guild's deposit money. He makes a wild excuse that the adventurers will stand by his side, but curses again, knowing he'll be branded a criminal, so he decides to risk the demon forest and use it as retirement money. As he walks through the forest, he comes across a barbed wire fence and gently touches it, only to realize it's electrified thanks to X's magic, since Bro is single-handedly transforming the medieval world into a modern one. Just like the goblins who slam into the wire, the guildmaster has an electrifying experience, and when he wakes up he is in a cell, bound, with the butler telling him he failed the request and attempted to escape. The butler explains that the forest guard is under the Viscount's command, and X did a great job, though the guildmaster doesn't know that X is the one responsible for that electric fence, a barrier that can fry anyone into burnt toast with just a touch. The butler tells him that he'll be working in the mines for the money he loves so much, and since the advance payment of 5 gold coins equals about 5 years, he is dragged off while yelling that he can get the money. Even though he doesn't want to hand it over, he decides to give the deposit money, but it's already gone as the butler says the adventurers retrieved it. All that's left is the ring of servitude, and as the butler tries it on, the guildmaster screams not to, warning that something bad will happen, but the butler ignores him and orders another attendant to take the guildmaster to the mines. The guildmaster shivers, saying the world is leaving his heart. Meanwhile, X, a bit nervous, walks down an alley and comes face to face with the butler, who tells him that since he quit being an adventurer he can't decline a request, and despite already taking the advance payment, he'll have to accept it. X wonders what the hell he's talking about, and says that no matter how much money he offers, he doesn't want to work for the Viscount, then turns to leave. The butler grits his teeth in frustration, nearly having a stroke as he realizes the guildmaster tricked him, ripped off 100 coins, and never gave X a single one, so he decides to make the guildmaster pay. The guildmaster, on the other hand, is having the worst time of his life. He's dirty, full of scratches, and broke. He'll have to endure 5 years of hard labor, but if he strikes a gold vein, he'll be right out. He decides to stay in it for a while. Little does the guildmaster know that the butler has found out about his 100 gold money laundering scam, and he won't be leaving the mines for at least 100 more years. Back at the Viscount's residence, the Viscount is reclining on his throne, wondering about the defective magician that was promised to him 3,000 years ago. He tells the butler to get him to make 200 cylinders at once, and he can also use other people. The butler apologizes, saying that no one but X can make those cool cylinders. A voice laughs, proposing that they just kidnap him. This greaseball is the king of the ghetto, a rascal who approached his lordship while he was gone. His lordship wonders about the ghetto king, and the butler angrily tells him to reconsider. But he says that they'll give him a room underground and treat him nicely. Sooner or later, he should change his mind. The Viscount smiles disgustingly, saying that it will work out in the end. However, kidnapping is bad for their reputation, so instead they will honey trap him. If kidnapping is bad, they should just have him simp for a baddie and do as she says, though the ghetto king is not too happy. From a crime boss, he's been turned into a pimp. But he can't refuse the Viscount's orders. He starts wondering about whom to seek out. Should he go to a red light district? He curses because violence, drugs, and underground operations are his go-to gig, and they have no baddies in the organization. He tries to go around and find some. The first is a kid with a cold, but if he chooses her, he'll end up in jail himself, even if the FBI is not around. Next is an old woman, and even if X is a hardcore V-card-holding loser, he won't go for an old woman. The other is a lady who is already knocked up. Next is a hobo, and the last one is a dog. He can't believe how useless he is at finding the perfect honey trapper. All of a sudden, a 10-bitin' baddie with an hourglass figure says that she'll volunteer, but the Ghetto King is the only one she has eyes for. He excitedly realizes that his lover will make him simp for her. She even volunteers to stop if he doesn't like it. The Ghetto King is happy that he has a loyal baddie by his side, but can she pull off a honey trap with her personality? He decides to flip a coin to see what he should do, but he fails to catch the coin and it accidentally drops. A young girl hands him the coin, and it looks like he has chosen the girl as the perfect honey trapper. But it turns out this so-called girl is not a girl but a guy. Dude is so bad at setting honey traps that he has gotten a trap for the job. And his lover is not too happy that she wasn't chosen. She angrily yells that she has given her best dress to this dude. A thug arrives and mistakes the femboyish honey trapper as the princess. The Ghetto King's lover starts telling him off for not being able to spot a trap from a guy. They all have an amusing laugh before spotting X walking around with Ruka. They wonder if she is a demon lord. As a lady, she is completely different from them. The fake princess decides to go back after losing his confidence. Even the lover decides to go back. Even if defeat is waiting for them, they can't do it, but X accidentally spots them. The trio has been staring at them for a while. Ruka is scared and X decides to protect them. She angrily wonders what they want from him. Both of them try to rizz him up, asking if he wants to have some fun together. X just stares at them coldly and cluelessly. Crazy Bear interjects, yelling, how dare they try to get their hands on X, who is having a little quality time with Ruka. And he also spots that one of them is a guy. They can't believe that the bear is talking and also exposing them. The girl says that the numbers are even now, so they find out that he is a guy. He apologizes, saying he has been here as a honey trap. X's face goes pale. As they say that with Ruka around, it's impossible. X realizes that this must be the Viscount's plan. The trap boy says that he won't be treated badly at the Viscount's mansion. He should agree to being kidnapped and let Big Sis save face. X just outright refuses and says that he will be going now. The lover angrily asks that he will be honey trapped if he likes it or not, and he should prepare himself. What she doesn't know is that he has already read his Bible. A verse a day keeps the only fangirls away. He continues his little outing with Crazy Bear and Ruka, saying that they were surprisingly honest and he feels bad not falling into their honey trap. Ruka is proud of being with a man of character. The crime boss is angrier than usual. He can't believe that he didn't fall for his lover. Meanwhile, the other options are no longer available. The knocked-up lady went into labor. The kid with the cold is on that bed, and the old granny wasn't an option from the start. With no choice, he turns to a little cat kid, the same one X gave a kebab to earlier. He tells her to cut to the chase. He orders her to take X to the Viscount Palace and get anything she wants in return. It turns out all she wants is the cold medicine for the kid who has a cold. She smiles and runs away, and the lover says that it looks like her job here is done. The crime boss tells her not to feel too bad. Even if X didn't fall for her, he loves her. Later, X arrives at the palace and says that he is upset. To think that they would use a little kid like this as a honey trap. They are all rotten to the core. The butler tries to clear the air, saying that's a misunderstanding, but X is furious. He's going to dial 911 or Child Protection Services. He didn't know that there were ditty parties here as well. How dare they make excuses? The butler realizes things are going bad for the PR team. X angrily says that to think that they would use a girl and exploit her. The Viscount looks at X and gets a big head. He was sure that he would come back to work. But X says that he won't forget them. He is going to buy her medicine and they are going. He turns to leave and the Viscount is left biting the dirt. A shopkeeper saw everything unfold before her. Rumors about the Viscount exploiting kids spread and his reputation hit rock bottom. Bro's dreams got dashed from being an elite nobleman to being an elite pedophile. The princess smiles, setting the coordinates for a vacation house at the forest's end. She is ready to see the great sorcerer with her own eyes. The old man can't believe that the princess went to see X all by herself. The guards apologize for doing a lousy job, but she used teleportation magic. He wonders if it's his fault for talking to the princess about the problem. This is Lula, the third princess, a 12-year-old girl with a big age gap with her sisters. She is innocent, kind, and intelligent, the holy trinity of wife material, but she has a troublesome personality. Her curiosity gives her a deflated sense of danger. She was curious about the cold cylinder she got from the Viscount, and her attendant decided to see it as a threat level 1, according to the danger assessment magic scouter. It's not a threat, but there's an unfamiliar feeling down there. He apologizes for letting his guard down, but there wouldn't be anything that catches the eye in the town, and he's also curious about the cylinder so much that he won't be able to sleep, so he wants to borrow it. Lula excitedly hands him the cylinder but tells him not to break it because she wants to give it to her sister. At the Royal Institute of Magical Technology, they try to reverse engineer it. It's the cylinder that she got from the Viscount at a dinner party. The technician looks at it, saying that if the Viscount wants to climb up the nobility, maybe he doesn't know about it, and more importantly, it's really light, so he decides to disembowel it. There's something like a small piece of ice inside, and there's a breeze coming through the opening. Maybe they cut a magic stone in the form of a cylinder and wrote the ritual on it directly. He looks around and gasps in surprise, wondering what this is. There shouldn't be anything here, but why? The attendant wonders what he's talking about and why he's tripping. He says that there are no magical words inside. There's not even a magical stone or an energy source, a magic tool this world doesn't know of. It's made of beginner-level magic ice balls and wind circles, and he can't believe that it can exist. This is too troublesome, and they need to find out who X is. Lula tells her grandpa that it looks like it's beginner-level magic with a very long-lasting effect, and there must be a great sorcerer behind it. Gramps tells the princess not to be so curious, because maybe they childishly use extremely advanced magic. Lula really wants to meet this mysterious person, and she can't wait to give this cylinder to her sister and surprise her. The possibility of a great sorcerer behind the Viscount is troubling, so they do a background check, and from the result, it becomes clear that he is a boy with a desire not to work. He consults the princess, who is listening, and she can't believe that he's someone who doesn't want to work. So it's best to ask him why. Gramps says that he wants to overlook the obvious, but he will arrange a meeting between her and Mr. X. So the princess walks around the city in peasant clothes. She finally spots X and asks him what he's doing. Right now, he's in the middle of buying a kebab again. Little bro has the worst luck, because whenever he buys a kebab, a snotty-nosed kid interrupts him. X wants to find the kid he gave the kebab to earlier, and the princess volunteers to help him. But instead of going to the fox girl, she accidentally leads him to a little white cat. She's immediately starstruck with how cute it is and feeds it the kebab, but it looks like it doesn't want it. They finally arrive at the cat girl. X smiles, calling her Notori and handing her the kebab. She can't believe that she can have meat twice in a single month, and after getting medicine for her big sis as well, it looks like life is finally getting good. The princess is touched by how generous he is, though X finds her stare a little uncomfortable. Even though he's broke and unemployed, he's still giving it to the little beast girl, and she must think that he's shady. He nervously confirms that this person is his friend and he's been looking for a long time. The princess smiles, asking if he's X, the great sorcerer. X just laughs that his name is the defective sorcerer. The princess is taken aback, saying that he has the same name as the great sorcerer, the one who made this air cylinder. She's looking for him to make her another one. X asks to have a look. It really is the one that he made, and he says that he can make it. She smiles and brings out 2 cylinders made of rubies. Her eyes shine with hope, asking him if he really is the great sorcerer and if he can make another one. He smiles that there's no way he's a great sorcerer because he can't use anything except magic that only kids can use. But seeing how excited Lula is, he can't say no to her puppy dog eyes, and he uses ice and wind magic to create the cylinders. He also tells her not to tell anyone that he's the great sorcerer. She looks at the cylinders and the cool air flowing from them and smiles, thanking him. X grins that he is now a great sorcerer in the mind of a kid, and it doesn't feel too bad. Later, Lula arrives back in the palace and Gramps angrily grumbles where she has been, but when she whips out 2 more air cylinders, Gramps is awestruck. She says that this is troublesome, but she owes X for the favor, and the royal family cannot be left in debt, so they should repay him generously. X, on the other hand, just carefully whistles to himself and walks. X says he has been worried about 2 things. The first is that there is a suspicious person wearing designer threads who keeps telling him to attend the dinner party as thanks for saving a certain noble, but he just wants to decline. The other thing is that he is on the verge of being broke, which is what happens when one is unemployed for so long, and because he has been eating the chef's special dishes every day, he cannot go back to the disgusting slime food he used to eat. He even had a juice after the meal, and he also bought 5 more milker pillows to make up for not having a girlfriend. All he has left is a little money and a set of high-quality pillows to cry into when he is finally broke. Oh, and one more thing, he has a warm stone, a free, completely useless, empty magic stone with fire enchantment on it, and he wonders what he should do. He does not want to go to work anymore, but he still needs money, so there is only one thing he can do, either open OnlyFans or gamble and hit the jackpot. He realizes there is a lottery shop in the back street that has been going on for a while, so maybe he should just try his luck and pull a secret plan as well. The banker measures time, and his buff magic can raise his luck stat, but his magic will not wear off thanks to his extension effect, so though it is a little unfair, he can make a killing at gambling. With new hope in his eyes, he turns to leave, but a pair of eyes shine in the darkness. He knows he should not be thinking about gambling, but he is in a tough spot, and all of a sudden the dirty cat girl arrives, finally finding Big Bro. This is Notori. He tells her that she surprised him and asks how her friend that needed medicine back then is doing. She says that Big Sis Rai is doing well and that she wants to serve her master. He wonders who she is talking about, thinking that the wish he granted by bringing the medicine must have put something weird into her head to teach him about haggling too much. He remembers he was saved by someone before as well, so he wants to tell the kid not to worry about it too much. Notori smiles, and he tells her that she has been a good girl as he fishes into his pocket, but he accidentally grabs the money pouch instead of the kebab. He starts sweating bullets because this is his last money. The little girl nervously wonders if he ran out of money because the medicine was expensive. X realizes that Notori is worrying about her sister's weakness since it was a curse, not a cold, and he needed an elixir from elves, so it was kind of expensive, but he does not want to make the kid worried, so he tries to act cool by telling her to buy her big sister something with his money, adding that she should know he never gives anything unless he has money to spare. The little girl looks at her savior, and he smiles, but internally he is panicking because now he really is out of money. Even so, making this little dirty old friend smile is all the thanks he needs. Now he wonders what he should do since the gambling plan is out the window, and maybe he will have to live off Ruka for a while after all. He thinks about helping set up her shop, or maybe working there, and he actually starts worrying about a nice dinner as well. Though he does not have money, his heart is warm, and that is what poor people have instead of money, warm hearts. He also still has that stone in his pocket and wonders if he can sell it to some rich person who just wants a bit of excitement in life. All of a sudden, the rich guy arrives asking him out for the dinner meeting, and X accepts, not because he wants to meet whoever arranged it, but because he does not have any other plans for dinner. Lula excitedly greets her elder sister Shiran, the second princess of the kingdom. Shiran tells Lula that she also wants to meet the person who made the cool cylinder, since lately they have been worried about their younger sister who is innocent and loves pranks. Shiran wants to look out for her because she is so vulnerable that it makes her heart pound, and the mysterious sorcerer who was reluctant about having dinner together suddenly decides that tonight is fine. What is he planning? With an overthinking mind, she wonders about all sorcerers being crack jobs, and she cannot let him have a negative influence on Lula. She also tells Gramps that she wants to participate in the dinner, and though Gramps finds it unusual, he tells her it is fine, but she will have to be careful. The first thing is that they are inviting X here, and the word work is a forbidden word. She nervously wonders why, and Lula laughs, saying that the great sorcerer has declared he does not want to work anymore. This lowers her image of X, and she wonders what kind of unemployed bum her sister ran into. She thinks it is unfair to run away from things they do not like and only reap the benefits, because when people have duties, they should perform them just like how she herself is a bird in a cage. Gramps tells them that asking him about work, what he does for work, or when he will work is completely off the table, since their goal today is only to get close to him. With so many rules, Shiran feels overwhelmed and just starts giggling. X arrives nervously, wondering where he has been taken, since he never thought that they would have such an amazing carriage. He awkwardly expresses his gratitude for today's invitation, but the attendant tells him that he is only a guide and does not have the right to accept his feelings. X wonders if he is getting into a mess, maybe with a big noble, and he is already starting to feel like he should go home. He finally arrives and realizes this is the store he once visited with Ruka and Kumakichi, so he is only a little worried. The man laughs, saying that he is aware of the secret path that only special people know, so it looks like he really is a noble. He gently guides X down a flight of stairs and through a portal, but X wonders what is the matter and whether he should step inside, because after all, his mama warned him about following strangers into strange holes. No one would think there is another secret door in the tea house like a hidden hideaway, but the attendant excitedly shoves him into the portal, telling him not to be late. X screams, wondering if this is how he will make his transportation gate debut, already planning to brag about it to Ruka when he gets back, and also vowing to never forgive the guide for forcing him along. A whole army of servants wait to greet him, and X, being the broke boy he is not sure how to respond. He looks around at the palace, reminding himself that he is here only for food and does not want to think about anything else. He is led into a grand dining hall and instantly recognizes Lula as the girl he once helped. He courteously thanks them for inviting him over, and once again mistakes Gramps as the host, while also wondering if he should thank the cold lady sitting by Lula's side. She thanks him instead, saying that they only wanted to meet him, and introduces herself as Shirin, Lula's elder sister, before telling him to take a seat. He nervously clears the air that he is not a great sorcerer, since everyone actually calls him a defective magician, but they still believe that he made this magic cylinder and is the greatest sorcerer to walk the earth. Now that they have made their greetings, they decide to eat first. Chiron is still on edge because in the upper class the ingredients and ranks of foods are a question, and the consumer must answer through manners. She wants to see if X is just a broke boy or someone worthy of interacting with. X looks at the soup, how tasty it seems, and at all the different spoons, so he decides to go with his gut and pick the biggest spoon. Though it is hard to use, he is happy that the soup is amazing, and Lula is also enjoying her meal, but Shirin is overthinking it, wondering why he would use the biggest spoon. Maybe something is lacking, or maybe he does not like something. He then asks them where their parents are today, and they once again overthink, wondering if he wants a direct audience with the king. Lula innocently answers that they are busy, and X simply says that they must have it rough and that it is no problem, while also adding that the bigger spoon is just easier for soup to present him with a steak, medium rare, and Gramps whispers to Chiron, who wonders why X is not touching the main dish. She interprets it as a message that he is refusing their reputation and relations, and wonders if they made a mistake, but X on the other hand just cannot eat another bite because he is full, even though it looks too good. He instead thinks about asking for bread refills. X also wonders what he should answer if they ask him something, because he does have something he wants to sell. He brings out the flame stones, explaining that they can keep people warm in winter. They ask if the stones really are warm and what the price would be, and he explains that he cast 100 beginners' fire magics into empty magic stones. Since the material is free, he has trouble making ends meet, so he wants to sell them at a high price. He remembers that Ruka told him he should always sell things at a high price and let others decide because that is how a deal can be made. So he says he will leave it to them for the asking price and will step outside for a bit so they can think it over. As he leaves the hallway, Gramps mutters that this is troublesome, but Lula excitedly declares that they should buy each one for a gold coin. Being the entitled brat she is, she does not even know the worth of a gold coin. Gramps reasons that X may not want to work anymore, or maybe, as Chiron suspects, he wants to show off his abilities in exchange for production. She fears that he wants enough to play for the rest of his life and will turn against them if they refuse. Lula argues that the royalty can afford it and insists they should just buy them. Chiron wonders if it is really wise because depending on how X answers, the man who does not want to work might reveal his true colors, but Lula still wants to believe in the great magician. X meanwhile is just walking down the hallways like an idiot, expecting only a silver coin or maybe a large one, since they are rich. When he comes back, he sees a whole pile of gold shining on the table and nervously wonders why they are bragging about their wealth. He decides to demand a large silver coin without hesitation. He looks at Lula, who laughs and tells him to pick out whatever he wants from the pile, and when X looks at it, he sees they are all gold coins to use appraiser magic, so they decide to judge only by weight. He finally picks out a single gold coin and says that this is his reward, and Chiron cannot believe that he chose only one coin. X frowns, wondering if he did something wrong, but Lula just laughs, saying that she believed in him, and he immediately cheers up while Chiron also smiles. It looks like he is an unselfish person who simply does not want to work, and X is happy that he now has a gold coin, since that means he has room for dessert as well. Life is good. Chiron tells him not to mind, but asks if he can tell them his theme, so he explains that his theme is extension, and though it is convenient, he can only use beginner magic because of his karma. She feels sorry for the poor boy not being able to use advanced magic, but he explains that he once learned advanced magic and abandoned it. She cannot believe it, because he abandoned his own blessings while she has had to stay satisfied with the blessings of royalty even though she felt caged. She asks him if he regrets his choice, and he simply smiles, saying that he does not like advanced magic because it is too convenient and he wants a path for himself. He calls himself an incompetent person who only masters incompetence. Chiron smiles, saying she cannot believe that a person like him exists, and she thought she was destined to be forced into marriage just as the minister would decide. Now it looks like they might free themselves from their destinies. Lula smiles, gets out of her chair, and says that she approves of him as a great sorcerer and he should never call himself incompetent again. He is taken aback but thanks her and thanks them for the invitation. The second princess tells him that he was a very nice guest and that they will treasure the warm stones. Lula tells him to come back and play with them again, and when she smiles, he greets them and turns to leave. He then decides to exchange the coin, but later the maid wonders what they should do with the mountain of gold coins left behind by X. Lula laughs and swears on the dignity of their kingdom that they will give it to X naturally no matter what. In the Organization of Mages, a giant institution that is the opposite of the Adventurers Guild, a person suddenly appears on the leaderboard, appointed as a great sorcerer. X, retired. Everyone wonders who is this mysterious X, they have never heard of him. Is he the love child of the royal family or something, and why does it say retired? They wonder if it is a joke from the princess. A bookish wizard says that she does not know who X is since there is no mention of him in the roster. One sorceress tells them to calm down and says she will look into it. She decides to see X with World Search and uses an energy owl to search for him, but she does not end up with any results. She realizes that, since he is retired, he is not on the map. The owl says that X was an adventurer and his name is the Defective Magician, rank E. The old wizard wonders how strange it is that an E-rank wizard is now at the top of their organization. The witch tells them to relax, saying that he might have just entered once as camouflage and that the next search result will show his true colors. His previous job was at the Adventurers Guild, rank E, Defective Magician. They cannot believe that the so-called super magician is nothing but a demoted loser. The whole organization is in uproar. They cannot believe why he is here on the leaderboard and why they cannot learn anything about him. The reason X is not registered in the mage records is that when he learned magic from a high elf in the Red Forest, he tried to join the circle, but everyone laughed at him for being restricted to beginner magic and recommended him to the Adventurers Guild instead. The lady who appointed him as a great magician is none other than the third princess who is having a great time. X sneezes, wondering if he caught a cold or something. He also wonders about the mysterious great sorcerer who was recently appointed. Apparently, no one has any idea how it happened, and they have heard that he has prepared traps for anyone trying to trace him. They wonder about the mysterious magician who would show magic in such a powerful way. X is not bothered by the small talk around him. He just chomps his bread in silence, but when he hears his own name come up as the great sorcerer, he almost chokes on his bread and gulps down a large glass of milk to wash it away. He wonders if it is only a coincidence. After all, he was turned down by the organization. He decides to go on a walk because it will help him digest his meal. Maybe he should go play with Ruka, or maybe he should go buy something with Natora and Big Sis Rai. She always invites him, since she has a knack for finding treasure in ditches, and it is amusing how she looks tired of it. But he has already made up his mind to go see Ruka. The shopkeeper and her daughter Rai are excitedly wondering if it is fate. The shopkeeper says that they are about to open their own shop and maybe X should come by and have some cotton candy. X smiles, scratches his head, and says that he has plans of his own. Speaking of plans, someone was looking for him, and he wonders if he did something. Why, and was she talking about a plushie? The shopkeeper says that it is not that, and she was an adult. The little girl angrily pouts, wondering if he is cheating already. They turn to leave, inviting him to come visit their shop. He smiles and wonders if a junkie is really looking out for him. It turns out it is the crackhead science babe. She excitedly runs into him, saying that she missed him. He wonders who she is again. It looks like he has seen those crazy eyes before, and all of a sudden he remembers the lady he cast buff on. She angrily shakes him, asking him for support, her eyes full of insanity. He tells her to get some rest first, but she asks how much she should pay him. She says she had a revelation and needs that high to get through it. All the other people look at them as if he is a drug dealer, refusing to give her the special flour and baking powder. He tells her not to get him into trouble because from now on he is tired. But she yells that she only wants his package, that only he can satisfy her, and that if it is money or her body he can pick whatever he wants, so please. A voice tells her to step away. It is the S-rank adventurer from the guild. X wonders if she is here to save him, but it turns out she is also chasing after the high one gets from his buff magic. X wonders since when he started attracting a bunch of junkies without being a sugar dealer. He tries to run away, but the S-rank adventurer stops him, and he accidentally lands on her marshmallows, realizing that they are even better quality than the slime pillows he always uses. He accidentally falls asleep. When he finally wakes up, he wonders if he is in heaven because two baddies are by his side asking him for his buff magic. He does not want to, but the science babe asks him to hear her out. She is a magic scholar on a challenge to prove the structure of barriers. Just the other day, the dream she had was something else. The dream hag is someone who sees the future and will live for 1,000 years, a fortune teller who wished for eternal life and had her body completely consumed by the void. The town has lost its barrier, and they need a new one. The only words she rambled on were new type of barrier, electric shock, forest guard, and the lucky word that cut through was support 1. If she forgets about it, it will shut down from a happy future. X wonders if this is because his magic ran out. With such a solid reason, X finds it hard to turn her down and gasps support 1. She wonders if it is okay since he is so against it, and he says he does not want to get involved. The S-rank adventurer also comes up with her own sob story. Her sob story is that she throws up. X wonders if she throws up from drinking too many potions. Her barrage attack packs explosive power, but she has little mana, so it's like using a bazooka and having to reload it every second. He turns her away and she cries, saying that without his magic she throws up, and without his magic she is nothing. He finally casts it on her and shoves her away, and the science wave says that she doesn't have money but she has something else. Just as things are about to go 18+, X karate chops her head, telling her not to be silly, and says that she can pay him when her research sells. She thanks him, saying that he is a gentleman, but it's impossible to prove their structures and her research might end with her. X smiles, saying that she should try her best, but she starts rambling on and on about the electric fence just dying out, how it's like a wall of emptiness, and wondering if her approach was incorrect. Maybe sorcery is impossible with electric shocks, though maybe they can create electricity with science. X wonders why she works so hard, and she says that there's a sense of responsibility on her. If she tells others, it will become childish, but she wants to prove people wrong. She asks X if it makes him look down on her, but he smiles, saying that he's been through a similar situation and hopes she can find a substitute. He then turns to the S-rank adventurer, who says it's because she can't forget about the time when a kid said thanks to her, so he finally feels good about casting support one on them. As he turns to leave, they're already looking forward to their next hit. X then goes to Ruka's sweatshop planning to play, but all of a sudden they're celebrating a party for him, saying that he's been appointed as a great sorcerer. He excitedly tells them that it's a misunderstanding and that they should look at the newspaper again, but it's clear as day that he's the new great sorcerer. Ruka wonders what the problem is, and looking at the cake, he decides to go along with it. Even Crazy Bear is happy as they chomp on the cake. Ruka then asks when he's moving in, and he wonders what she's talking about, but she says that he should move in with her. He's running out of money, but he just laughs, saying that her heart is as soft as a cake. He explains that the warm stones sold for 1 gold coin, and she angrily says that she wants one as well, but he tells her that this one's his. Instead, he will cast the spell on something else. Crazy Bear brings out a pocket watch, but realizes it will get too hot, so X laughs, wondering if he should cast the magic directly on Crazy Bear. Crazy Bear tearfully clings to Ruka, saying that he will burn. X smiles, saying that he won't burn because magic flames are different from regular ones, like how casting fire enchantment on wood doesn't turn it to ashes. Hearing this, Crazy Bear excitedly volunteers, and X gets ready to cast it on him. He casts a little fireball with 0, one of the usual power. Ruka loves the new and improved Crazy Bear, who is now warm and cuddly, saying that he's even more active than before, but then she looks at Crazy Bunny hugging X and angrily tells the bunny to get away. X smiles, teasing her for being jealous of a plushie, and this causes her to pout and call him a baka. He just smiles, saying that in return for the cake he'll do anything he can to help her, and she smiles, saying that there's a place she wants to see, and that's a music fest. X decides to go on a music fest, and he's here to pick her up. Ruka smiles because it looks like our boy just landed himself his first date. He was so excited about the town festival that he couldn't even sleep. The coachman is also in a good mood, humming to himself since Ruka is running a luxury brand and paid him top money. The ride to the next town is comfortable, and he feels nothing but gratitude toward her. X suddenly remembers if it's okay for her to leave the bunnies at home. She nervously admits that this is her first trip, so she completely forgot about them. Crazy Bear steps in, saying they don't need to worry, since they can take all the bunnies at once and apologize later. Meanwhile, at the Viscount's mansion, he once again sends his butler to the inn. Until the day the Viscount promised to deliver those cool cylinders to the nobleman, the butler must make X create 200 of them. But instead of X, a little girl answers the door, excusing herself by saying she is the butler and master is out of the house. The butler wonders how X could make a little girl pretend to be a maid in such a small room. Another girl arrives, and he asks if her friend has recovered from the cold. She smiles and explains that he's the one who stays next to the Viscount. As for the maid, she wasn't sick from a cold but suffering from a curse. Back then, X was just a stranger, yet he used his own savings to help her, which was really amazing. Yesterday, they were troubled again since they had lost their house to a fire, so X volunteered to let them stay at his place until they could find a new one. The butler realizes he's the rotten one while X is actually a good kid. Mitora smiles, calling X a great sorcerer who always gives her kebabs. Her older sister tells her to shut up before she spills too much. He won't let him get away. At the town gate, the coachman says the 3 of them plan to stay in the neighboring town for 3 days. The guards wave them through but suddenly yell at the coach to stop. The jolt sends Ruka into X's arms and he asks if she's okay. They all wonder what's wrong until the guard says there's a no-name hobo hiding in their carriage. Everyone gets out and Crazy Bear yells that there's no one hiding. The guards can't believe a plushie is talking, which is crazy, but at least Crazy Bear isn't haunted or murderous like Annabelle. Still, he looks ready to throw hands until X picks him up like a kid and apologizes. The guards wonder what on earth is going on with this plushie. X explains that Crazy Bear is a resident of the Land of Illusions, like a spirit, so he won't harm anyone. they should just move along. Crazy Bear, however, wants to trash talk, though the guards let them go. He's not happy about X shutting him up, but X tells him not to be troublesome, otherwise he'll send him off as a labubu. Ruka still feels something is off. Crazy Bear has his own ID, so he isn't shady. X, on the other hand, looks away, admitting he doesn't have one. Ruka tells him that's not good. Not many know this, but the gate's magic tools magnetize people so they can't be criminals. X decides he'll handle it later. In truth, he was the no-name rat all along, but Crazy Bear took the fall. They decide to get him a temporary license at Crazy Town. Meanwhile, the butler is losing his mind, wondering where X is if he didn't go to the next town. Back at Sheep Town, they are finally together at the music festival, and everyone is ready to enjoy their stay. Ruka spots cute plushies everywhere, and for her it's like heaven. Even though they had a little bit of trouble on the road, it was worth it. Everyone has to pay an admission fee for wagons, just 2 small silver coins, which is nothing much for X and Ruka. Music fills the air, and the atmosphere buzzes with fun. X has never seen so many people out at once. They are almost at the campsite, where tents cover the meadows. Makeshift shelters fill every inch of space, since it's a seasonal tradition for everyone to camp overnight. X looks at Ruka and asks if they should go, but she's in bad shape. Her social anxiety flares up and she apologizes that she can't do it. X realizes she fears crowds, which explains why she stays home at night. He reassures her not to worry and to leave it to him. He asks the coachman to change their destination to an inn. The coachman wonders if she simply dislikes crowds. There are no inns nearby, but maybe they can borrow a tent. X hesitates since it isn't ideal, but Ruka is trembling like a leaf, and with night coming, they have no other choice. He asks the coachman to take them out of town. The man stares wide-eyed, asking if they've lost their minds. X promises to make it worth his while, and the coachman agrees without charging extra, warning only that the roads are dark and the trip long. As soon as they leave the campsite, Ruka relaxes back to normal. She is the final boss of introverts. X tells her not to apologize, reminding her that when he was called a defective magician, she stood by his side and gave him courage. Now it's his turn to return the favor. He then asks if she has any silver fabric, since he wants to make a witch hat that fits both him and Crazy Bear. Their plan is to turn Crazy Bear into a Halloween attraction. Ruka uses Ghost Dance to summon cloth from her briefcase, and it floats in the air. It turns out she can literally make clothes dance for her. Crazy Bear whips out a pair of scissors and promises a good show. After a few minutes, he juggles 7 needles and finishes a witch hat. X claps, entertained by the performance. They even end up with an extra hat and wonder what to do with it. X smiles and declares that, as the great sorcerer, he'll cast magic on this ordinary hat and show her a miracle. He enchants it, first upping its defense until it hardens, then casting flash so it glows from the inside. When inverted, it turns into a lantern. Ruka, terrified of the dark, is thrilled. Now she can walk with a bright lantern at her side. She calls X amazing, and he smiles, saying that it might not be a gift for Crazy Bear, but he's glad she likes it. He also wants to give one to the coachman. As soon as he does, the man is in awe of such a rare treasure. With this, the horses will run safely through the dark. Together, they look at the starry sky and the shimmering river full of fish. Ruka is happy, and X is glad they came. They set up the tent while the coachman volunteers to tend the horses. X lies down to rest until he returns. Ruka wonders how large the tent is, and X explains that it's average. Size doesn't matter, though it will be too small for both of them. He offers a separate tent for Ruka and Crazy Bear. The very mention of separation throws Ruka into a sulk. Crazy Bear kicks him, while Ruka says it's unthinkable to sleep apart in a place like this. X nervously asks what she wants. She suggests using the king ghost cloth to make a bigger tent. Crazy Bear gets fired up and builds a castle out of fabric. Bro is wasting his talent in the sweatshop. He should be in real estate. Ruka warns that it will collapse unless X hardens it with shield enchantment. He does, and immediately she hits him with a line straight out of Rizzler 101. This is the castle for her prince. X, dense as tofu, doesn't get it. Crazy Bear has had enough of the flirting and orders them inside. The castle is huge, which makes X uncomfortable. They came to camp, not conquer Sheeptown. Even the coachman is stunned, but X insists it's only a slightly bigger tent whipped up on the spot. He even invites the man inside. The coachman can't believe it was just a cloth moments ago. With furniture, they could live here forever. Crazy Bear explains that a ghost house with luxury furniture sounds insane, but with X's buffing magic it's possible. The coachman is hyped to see it. X tries to make excuses, saying Ruka is tired, but she angrily tugs his cloak. She wants to try it. She downs a few mana potions and whips out a dollhouse, using ghost house magic to blow it up into a massive castle. It looks creepy, but Crazy Bear urges X to buff it. Before he does, a strange voice echoes inside. Crazy Bear says it's just the shadow of a weak monster, nothing serious. But X and the coachman are both about to wet their pants. How can they not worry about Casper squatting in their tent? They want to banish the ghost, but Ruka handles it, vacuuming the spirit into her witch hat. Looks like she's built for ghost busting and real estate. After a tough fight, they purify the shadows and finally prepare to bathe. Ruka notices X is distracted and asks what's wrong. He says the juice is chilled with an ice ball, so she should drink some before the bath. She smiles with the brilliance of 1,000 suns, thanking him for today. While X is living his best life as an unemployed ex-defective magician, he looks at the city through his castle window. Life is good. He has a shorty, a crazy bear to keep him company, and a hot bath running. While X is enjoying his trip, the Viscount is having the worst bath of his life. He hurriedly calls the butler, shivering like a leaf, and says they should seize X for treason immediately. This surprises the butler, since accusing someone of treason is a big deal. Just what did X do? The idiotic Viscount insists that X tried to kill him because the bathwater was cold. He claims X prepared cold water, disguised it as bathwater, and tried to take his life. Even the butler can't wrap his head around what a massive idiot his master is. The magic in the large bath has already stopped working, and the butler even put up a sign warning not to use it just in case. Yet the Viscount smiles and says he has an amazing idea. His amazing idea is to order the forest guard and the territorial army to search for X. The butler can do nothing but play the yes man. He tells him it's a good idea and that he'll arrange for it, but internally he curses the Viscount because he doesn't want to reveal their weakness to the Hero Association or the captain of the Forest Guard. In the next moment, the Forest Guard Azil and the Territorial Army Chief Ryoga arrive. Azil says the Territorial Army looks as shabby as always, but Ryoga shoots back that it's only natural for armor to get scratches when soldiers go into battle and train. The Forest Guards, on the other hand, are just Boy Scouts getting badges for jerking each other off. Azil even wonders if training is really what they do. They are little boys waving shiny sticks, pretending to defend the entire forest. For the 5 years he's been serving, the younger soldiers have been all bark and no bite. As soon as the Viscount arrives, Azil shoots up from his seat, declaring he is the hero who will come running at any time for the sake of his lord. The commander is less eager to play lapdog and bluntly asks what the Viscount wants. The Viscount demands the truth about the defective magician he hired. He says X abandoned work and escaped, so he wants him captured. Azil, trying to glaze the Viscount, declares it outrageous that X dared not fulfill his duties under noble protection. The commander is more level-headed, asking why X ran away in the first place. The Viscount refuses to share details, spinning it as a great opportunity to see which side is better. He tries to manipulate them by turning it into a competition, while the butler provides the details. There are 2 conditions: they must report once a day and seize X unharmed. As soon as they leave, it becomes a race against time to capture X for the Viscount. The territorial army manages a large area and is overwhelming in size. Meanwhile, the cartel boss gets a visitor. He asks to let him through, wondering who it is. It turns out to be Azil, the forest guard, who smugly tells him to be happy because he has a new job. The cartel boss isn't thrilled about being called a rat and asks what he wants. Azil laughs, saying they must be short on work because he wants someone abducted right away. The target is a skinny brat named X. As soon as the cartel boss hears that name, he spits out his drink and says he'll accept for an advance payment of 3 large gold coins plus 1 later. Azil laughs and asks what happens if he loses his deposit. The cartel boss explains that if they fail, the client loses money, but they lose their name, and bad reviews are poison to business. Azil remains wary, saying he won't pay up front without proof of worth. The cartel boss just laughs as his lover and his traps surround Azil with knives at his throat. Feeling steel against his shaggy beard, Azil asks how much advance payment they want. The cartel boss coolly says 5 gold coins. Now it's time for business. The cartel boss orders one of his minions to leave eavesdropping magic all around to spot X. He tries to use a spell that lets him hear through walls, though it's pretty useless in combat. Through this, they overhear a conversation between the territorial army members. The commander is asking where X is and why the butler requested him. It appears they don't have any records of X. It looks like he completely abandoned his inn and left. But no other city shows him registered either. This is their chance. They decide to seize him when he comes back to his inn and secretly keep the room next door booked. The cartel boss realizes X hasn't fallen into anyone's hands yet. All they need to do is catch him first. He orders Ren, the trap, to draft a plan. Ren wonders why they don't just hire watchmen for 1 silver coin per half day at 10 locations for 5 days. The cartel boss decides to delegate the mission to the watchman and promises 1 gold coin to whoever spots X. Perfect, and he'll give his updates to the old man tomorrow. The next day, according to the report, there are still no clues about X. The old man is about to have a stroke, worrying that X might slip through a different route, so they should wait and keep searching. The cartel boss hates extra work, but he'll do it for an extra fee. They've already secured people to keep watch, and now the hunt is on. The cartel boss eventually comes face to face with a kid suffering from the cold. He asks if she's been okay, noting her hut was on fire and wondering if she works for someone new. She explains that until she finds somewhere to live, she's staying in her Master X's room. That seems perfect for the cartel boss, so he asks if she knows where X is. She replies she doesn't, but she gushes about his room. He doesn't have the details, but it's worth considering. For now, he decides to focus on the job. Baldy, Ren, and another thug unlock the door to X's residence and begin their little mission. They arrive at Ruka's shop, but Baldy is immediately captured by threads. Ren is the next to be tied up, and last comes the cartel boss himself. He finds himself face to face with a murderously cute bunny who demands to know their purpose. He can't believe the bunny is talking, but admits they're searching for X. The bunny nervously says they want to go after the traitors too, and that they're headed to Sheeptown. A huge army of plushies, each murderous like Annabelle, chime in that they won't forgive anyone for leaving them behind. The cartel boss can't believe what he's gotten himself into. Meanwhile, Ruka is getting ready to start her day. It's the second morning of their little vacation. X asks Ruka if she's awake yet, saying he'll open the door now. She greets him with a smile, and they share a cup of milk over breakfast. Crazy Bear pipes up, telling his partner that he really likes the milk and that X should try some too. After they finish a cup of warm milk and a cup of tea, Ruka apologizes for not going to the musical festival because of her fear of crowds. X tells her not to worry about it. What matters most is that they have fun. Moving in the wagon and setting up this 5-star tent is way more fun than watching dried-out musicians play anyway. Even the coachman is happy, enjoying a shower, an ice house, underfloor heating, and a massage chair all to himself. Ruka then asks if X wants to do something today. He nervously admits that since the guildmaster destroyed his guild card, he wants to get an alternative ID. This surprises Ruka, since it explains why he doesn't have a registration card. She clenches her fist in anger, promising to beat up the guildmaster later. X just smiles, saying he already quit that toxic workplace. He isn't helping the guild or the inn anymore, so he's fine. Ruka tells him she's glad the guild gave up trying to recruit him again, but she wonders how he became a great sorcerer. X explains that he's the kind of person who gets turned down at the council doors. Maybe for now it's all just part of some prank. He then decides he wants to become a merchant, adding that he wishes he could live with only warm stones. Ruka says she'll go with him, but X tells her not to force herself. This is his problem. She ignores him and starts getting dressed, saying that if she leaves him alone, he'll get distracted by bad company. X frowns, wondering when he's been in bad company. He insists he's not some weak little kid and can handle himself. Crazy Bear leaps onto his shoulders, teasing that she means any girl would fall for him. X, still buried in low self-esteem, insists that no one would fall for him. They wouldn't even pick him if he were the last man on Earth. Ruka angrily blurts out that she's not worried about that. X only smiles and says it's okay even if he makes new friends. He'll be friends with the new girl and she'll be friends with him. He'll be friends with her. Ruka is on the verge of tears. She's just been friend-zoned. Later, they walk down an alley, grateful that there aren't too many people around. X grins, confident he'll finish his errand at the Merchants Guild and be back home by noon. But Ruka nervously says someone is watching them. X looks around, trying to spot the source. Crazy Bear says the watcher is far away, but she can feel multiple eyes on them. X wonders if this is the bad company Ruka warned him about. Maybe it's a horde of baddies ready to kidnap him. They finally arrive at the Merchants Guild, with X still curious about who's following them. A strange lady approaches, asking if they're siblings, tourists, or maybe even performers. X explains that he's here to join the Merchants Guild. The lady shakes her head, saying he doesn't really need one. X insists that he does. She shrugs, saying maybe he wants to go into the forest, but it's a pain to get in without an ID. Worse yet, the person in charge isn't around during the festival, so he can't get one right now. X sinks into disappointment, but Crazy Bear yells at her not to be so uptight and to help them. The lady freezes, shocked to see the cuddly little bear talking. X tries to cover it up, insisting it's just a trick, and says they'll come back later. Afterward, he scolds Crazy Bear for scaring people like that. The bear apologizes, but adds that there's still a stalker around them. Eventually, they seek out a dark elf, who apologizes and explains they were only watching because their lord wants to have a word with X. They promise they won't do anything bad and only need him for a bit. They're then guided to an airship, larger than a zipline, and ushered aboard. Crazy Bear nervously wonders if this is the bad company X was fated to attract. They arrive and see a little lowly dark elf sitting on a throne, thanking them for hearing her out. They wonder who she is, but it turns out she's not a dark elf at all. She is a dwarf, queen of the neighboring nation of Iron. X introduces himself, Ruka, and the talking bear. The queen of the dwarves decides to send everyone away so that they can talk in person. She says she can't stop thinking about him, and X wonders if his famous streak is finally starting. The little girl squirms in her throne, saying that it's like a fever dream come true, so she wants to ask where in the world he got that crazy doll bag. X's hopes and dreams are crushed. It looks like she wasn't talking about him at all, but about the bag. The dwarf queen says she's a fan of bags and fashion, and she wants to know where Ruka got her hands on it. X can't believe she called them all the way here just for a bag. Ruka apologizes to X, saying he was so popular lately she thought it was about him, and this makes things even more embarrassing. She wonders what's the matter, because the queen just wants her hands on the bag. If Ruka can't tell her how to buy it, then she can sell her own bag. Ruka explains to X that she is hiding the conditions under which she introduces the highest grade products to others. Paying enough money alone is not possible, and she won't sell it to just anyone. She wants X to tell her that. The queen wonders what they're whispering about. X then introduces Ruka as the crazy doll's designer. This shocks the dwarf queen so much that she asks for an autograph. She turns into a certified fangirl while Crazy Bear starts acting like a bodyguard, telling her to keep her hands off. The queen nervously asks if she can get a custom-made one, and X laughs, saying they need to meet the conditions first. Ruka is not only looking for money but also for her customer's character. X is then asked about his relation to Ruka. Is he her boyfriend? X's whole software crashes, and Ruka doesn't correct her either. She is in a good mood, so she says the girl gets a pass. The dwarfine doesn't realize that her comment just earned her a custom-made crazy doll bag. While she is celebrating, flapping her arms around, she feels great and asks if they want anything else. Ruka says getting paid is enough for her, while X says he doesn't need anything in particular since he's just tagging along for the ride. Crazy Bear presents his own condition that she should help X get an ID. The dwarf queen looks at him in surprise, saying it's weird for an adventurer not to have an ID. X nervously explains that the guildmaster destroyed his ID since it was defective. The dwarf queen smiles, saying she will grant his wish. They present him with a golden artisan medal, explaining that this is what she gives to someone very talented and recognized as a golden artisan in her country. It also has his name on it, so he can use it as proof of identity. X turns to look at Ruka, who is holding her own medal and smiling, and he realizes they are matching. They share a touching moment. The dwarf queen explains that these medals come with an amazing bonus. If they show their medals to anyone, they can get liquor on the house at bars. This excites X since he is always on the verge of brokenness. At least now he can get booze to get drunk. She smiles, asking if they have any plans after this. Why not visit the music concert? X says Ruka is not good with crowds, so they'll pass. The dwarf queen laughs, saying there's no need to mingle with commoners because she'll call the performance on the ship. Sure enough, a group of performers starts whipping up banger tunes and fire mixtapes. Ruka enjoys the performance and is glad to have such a lovely time. X stretches his arms, saying that it's fantastic, but they should head back to their tent now. The dwarf queen excitedly wonders where he is staying. Her ship is more comfortable, but Crazy Bear tells her not to be dumb. X's tent is the best in the country, even better than the royal palace. X tries to cover it up, saying there's a ghost inside, so it's just a cheap inn, but the dwarf queen is curious and wants to see it herself. They take the flying ship to the tent, and X enjoys the view from above. The dwarven queen says dwarves are popular because of money, looks, and skills. Suddenly, the intercom announces that a level 3 warning is about to start. The dwarven queen angrily asks what is happening. It looks like there's a suspicious castle on their landing site. She nervously wonders who it could be, but X explains that this is their tent. This is enough to send the dwarven queen into shock. She can't believe she was satisfied with only clothes and leatherworks. Now she wants a castle. A castle now. They are dropped off in their castle, which is incredibly large. The dwarven queen says it's nice to hold performances here from now on, and X tells her that if she wants to use it, she should feel free. The next day, the whole palace is filled with luxurious furniture. She can't believe X can build palaces in such a short time, and so bright and warm too. X explains they can stay on the first floor since they're not using it. Later, the dwarves look at a water jug that is unending. There's not a single magical stone, but the water keeps flowing. Everyone is creating a fuss, and it looks like X is going to be famous again, but this time for the right reasons. The Viscount wonders when they will finally find X. The deadline is approaching, and he wants those 200 wind cylinders. One of the nobles asks what happened to the wind magic tool he requested. The hot season is already over, so when will the delivery schedule arrive? The Viscount explains that there is a bit of a problem in the production line, so it will take longer. The nobleman angrily turns away, wondering how he should explain this to his daughter, who has been looking forward to matching with the princess. He even threatens to end their relations right there. The Viscount tries to divert his attention to a few ladies murmuring about him. He starts grinning, thinking they are trying to rizz him up, but it turns out they are gossiping about the magician who ran away from his castle. Now the lights in their castle will not even work. He really pulled a honey trap with a child. Nah, this man speed ran his way onto an FBI watch list. Enraged, the Viscount yells at the butler to find X no matter what. The butler apologizes, saying that both parties are still struggling to find him. They have no idea where he is. The Viscount screams again that they should find him or else the entire palace will crumble. The butler is at his wit's end. He can't believe X just vanished into thin air. Butler is moving like an NPC with a side quest he keeps failing, yet he knows a word search might work. He goes into the organization of mages, where a sorceress introduces herself as Kukal, who can search for anything. He presents her with X's past records, and just as she looks at them, she throws a tantrum asking how he even knows him. She starts searching for X and his current location. It turns out X is in Sheeptown with Ruka. The butler can't believe it. How did he slip through such tight security? Kukal explains that the great magician X doesn't take kindly to searching. That is why no one can find him and why he only uses beginner magic. It is actually an advanced form of mimicry. Great magician X out here dodging search spells like he paid for premium ad block. The butler can't believe he is an advanced sorcerer. He wonders if he should tell the parties to look for him in Sheeptown. Back in Sheeptown, the commander rides a dragon into the city. He approaches a paperboy and mistakes him for X. It turns out the boy is just a musclehead with no brains, and the commander is simply confusing X for someone else. Meanwhile, a little girl excitedly watches a couple of bunny plushies sewing together. The cartel boss smirks, saying they look cute. The plushie angrily wonders why they are going along with this plan. The cartel boss replies that they won't do anything about it, so they just start sewing on their own while waiting for the ambush. Miss Trapped Queen brings in a hat full of coins, saying they earned it from a road performance. However, the head bunny is not too pleased. She starts yelling that they are supposed to be looking for a boy named X and a girl with a teddy bear. Whoever brings them will get a free plushie. Still, the head bunny complains that they are nowhere near finding them. Meanwhile, X lounges in the middle of the snowy deathscape with two baddies by his side. She excitedly tells him not to be embarrassed, though she is internally panicking. The tent is really comfortable, and X thanks her for the praise. It was only an open area until she brought the sofa and furniture from the airship. They are also glad to have performers now, so they can enjoy the music again. The queen wonders about the next performance. She asks the next team to come in. Suddenly, it is the cartel boss. He has finally searched everywhere and found them. The crazy bear yells that this is the guy from the honey trap incident, and X remembers. Does this mean he is back at it again? The cartel boss introduces himself as Urikal, crime boss of the ghettos, and the one the forest guard asked to kidnap X. He orders X to come along quickly, or else the cat girl and her big sis will pay the price. X wonders what he should do. Even if he beats them here, someone else might harm the girls, and he cannot let that happen. He gets up like a hero, volunteering to go with them, but demands they not lay a finger on Big Sis and her. The cartel boss assures him that he won't. Ruka is on the verge of tears and begs them to wait. The dwarf queen asks where they are taking him. The cartel boss says he can get a whole gold coin if he delivers X. The dwarf queen solves the problem instantly by throwing money at it, declaring he will now be under new management. She offers 5 gold coins if he works for her. They immediately switch sides and X is free once again. The dwarf queen laughs, and Ruka slams into X, eyes full of tears, saying she is glad he wasn't kidnapped. Hostages are foul play. X tells the queen he is thankful for saving them and promises to repay her someday. She gives him a thumbs up, telling him not to sweat it, and also telling Ruka not to cry anymore. Ruka scolds X, telling him to stop sacrificing himself all the time. He is not All Might or Midoriya. He should live an easy life and put himself first. She also vows to help him out next time no matter what. She won't let him leave her behind again. X realizes that even though he is being selfless, he is also being selfish by hurting Ruka. He thanks her for the pep talk and apologizes for being a baka. X apologizing for being a baka, bro? You're not self-aware, you're self-embarrassing. He flicks her forehead and promises to take better care of himself. A voice full of rage interrupts, demanding they promise never to abandon them again. Their entire army of bunnies arrives, furious at Ruka. Working in a sweatshop is fine for the bunnies. Even being underpaid is fine. But how dare Puppet Mommy leave them behind? The dwarf queen comments that X would have been captured if he had gone back, so why not just move to her nation? They would welcome him with open arms. X hesitates, asking for time to consider it. He also remembers ignoring his other half for 5 years after making contact. Is he really happy with his current life? He calls forth his illusion, his other half, and a dire orb floats in front of him.